Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Quranic Pedagogy and Ethics. Ladies and gentlemen, ethics and morality hold a significant place in Islamic teaching, and the Quran serves as the primary source of guidance in shaping human character. The presentation will explore the Quranic pedagogy, its focus on ethics, and how it influences moral development. The first things that need to be discussed is the Quranic teachings on the ethics and morality. Ladies and gentlemen, the Quran is replete with verses that emphasize ethical conduct and moral values. It is said in the Quran, 29, chapter 17 until 18. And those who turn away from false gods in devotion unto Allah and devote themselves to Allah, for them there are glad tidings. So give glad tidings to my servants who listen to the word and follow the best of it. And the next verse is from the Quran, 16 chapter 90. Indeed, Allah commands justice and good conduct and giving to relatives, and He forbids immorality, bad conduct, and oppressions. He admonishes you that perhaps you will be reminded. Ladies and gentlemen, these verses actually reflect the Quran's emphasis on living a life of righteousness and upholding ethical principles. And these verses also emphasize that Quranic teaching provide a comprehensive ethical framework for believers to follow. And it is also significant to talk about the role of Quranic education in a moral development. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, Quranic education plays a crucial role in shaping an individual's moral character. Through the teaching of the Quran, believers are guided toward ethical behavior and moral values. Quranic education fosters empathy, compassion, integrity, forming the foundation for a virtuous life. And when we discuss how Quranic education in Islamic schools, madras, and at home instills moral values in young learners, yes, it uh, it will be the case here. The Islamic education, the Quranic education aims actually to provide the fundamental um, preparations for people to hold morality in their life here, because uh, in the Quran it is there is an important part which is called akhlaq. Yeah. Akhlaq is actually the Islamic morality, the Quranic morality that every Muslim is supposed to conduct here in their daily activities here, like what I have mentioned, like empathy, compassion, integrity, passions, honesty, something like that. It is encouraged in Quran. So every Muslim is supposed to have, for example, empathy to other people, willingness to help the poor, for example, is encouraged through zakah here, or pay uh, some money to the poor and to marginalized peoples. Uh, what about the Quranic approaches to teaching ethics and morality? Well, we will be discussing it. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, exemplified the best approach to teaching ethics and morality. He led by examples, actually, demonstrating moral values through his actions and conduct. So this is what is so-called hadith. This is collected by the Sahabat, or the friends of the prophets, when it comes to getting in touch with the prophets, and the prophet said something or acted something, and then the Sahaba or the friends actually took notes here, and it becomes the guidance of Muslims in terms of akhlaq, or morality. Um, the next one is the use of stories, parables, and real life examples in the Quran effectively convey ethical lessons. For examples from the Prophet Yusuf, Muslims will understand about the importance of being patient, sabar, and the importance of being professionals, yeah, the importance of being able to reject the temptations. And from other prophets, Moses, we are also able or to identify the the character of uh, you know uh, strongness, yeah, the character of being able to struggle seriously, and the importance of being able to follow the God's or the Allah guidance, yeah, like in the Ten Commandments, yeah, sent to or given to Prophet Moses, yeah, something like that. There are a lot of parables, there are a lot of stories in the Quran that every Muslims can actually learn. And the next one is the concept of tazkiyah. Um, this is called the purification of the souls. This is very important, and this is the very uh, urgent, very urgent for Muslims, very necessary for Muslims to actually purify their souls, because this is the source from which we can actually develop the morality of Islam. Uh, Tazkiyah is actually the process of purifying the souls and developing virtuous traits. And the Quranic pedagogy emphasizes self-reflections and self-improvement for spiritual and moral growth. And it involves identifying weaknesses, seeking forgiveness, and striving to be better individuals. So the Tazkiyah process needs what is so called muhasabah. Muhasabah is actually identifying weaknesses, and by identifying weaknesses, you are going to spot what your weaknesses are. And if you can spot the weaknesses, of course, you are able to improve it, to actually to better yourself, to be better human being. And then this is, I mean, the Tazkiyah is a transformative process by which you can actually reform yourself to once again to be better humans, to be better Muslims. Yeah, and this is where you actually can pursue the ethical development in your life. And let's talk about the power of intention or niyah. Yeah. If you have intentions, it means that in Arabic terms, in organic terms, in Quranic terms, you have niyah here or niyat here in Bahasa. And the Quran highlights the importance of intention of in all actions. The purity of intention determines the ethical values of deeds. So if you have a good intentions, you have a good niyah here. It will determine the ethical values. Your ethical values will be good if your intention is good. Sincere and righteous intention lead to ethical conduct and moral integrity. Okay, so in schools and madrasah, you are taught to have good good intentions. Means that you have to be having good niyyah here, because it will determine your actions. Good niyyah will lead to good intentions, good actions. It means that you provide the pathway of having or developing a moral integrity. And let's talk also about the importance of compassion and justice. Compassion and justice is two characters that should be developed by Muslims. Compassion and justice are fundamental values in Quranic ethics, and the Quran emphasizes treating others with fairness, mercy, and kindness, and upholding justice and equality is an essential aspect of Islamic ethic here. And the Quran promotes and strengthens a balanced approach to justice and compassion. Justice is actually the highest values that should be that should be uh, built up by Muslim society, Muslim individuals. Yeah, and compassion, is actually the backbone of the Islamic values. Uh, you love your God, but at the same time, after you love your God, you love Allah. You have to love other people. There are two kinds of teachings in the Quran in Islam. love God and love Allah and love others. Yeah. Love others mean that you have to have your compassion when dealing with others, helping other people, helping the poor, yeah, something like that. And nurturing moral courage is also something that need to be taken into account. Quranic teaching nurture moral courage to stand up for what is right and just. Examples of individuals in the Quran who displayed moral courage inspire believers to do the same, like Joseph, yeah, the Prophet Joseph, the Prophet Moses, um, as well as uh, examples of bad individuals in the Quran, which should be gotten rid of by Muslims, like examples of Fir'aun, examples of, well, there are many others, yeah, Korun, something like that. And moral courage involves speaking truthfully and fiercely in the face of adversity. Okay, and moral courage is actually essential in challenging unethical practices and defending the truth. And the stories of the prophets in the Quran is actually a representation of the courage to 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 be against unethical practices. You can see in the history, for example, how the Prophet Muhammad tried to struggle against the people in power at that times, yeah, the oligarchy at that times, the rich peoples who are in power at that times, who are not just to society, who are cruel to society, you know. So so Prophet is sent, and one of his job was actually to change the unethical practices in society to be ethical practices in society, defending the truth, defending a good morality. And conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, so it is very significant, and for us to understand that Quranic pedagogy is actually playing an important role in shaping ethical individuals. Ethical individuals will lead to ethical society. And I would like to encourage you, and especially me, myself, yeah, to implement the Quranic teaching in our lives, to promote ethical conduct and morality. Quran is not only for us to recite, but actually this is GPS for us. Yeah, it's actually the guidance book for us, and we have to develop our own characters, ethical conduct, morality based on the Quranic teaching. Thank you very much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.